Welcome back to the Knock-On Effect, the rugby show where we say what the pundits won't. Munster fell at a Bordeaux-shaped hurdle to crash out of the Champions Cup, while Leinster annihilated Glasgow. The Saints flexed their muscles against Castres, and Toulouse squeezed past Toulon. In today's video, we'll take a look back at the action and give our thoughts on all the rugby over the weekend. Let's get stuck in. The first quarter-final of the weekend was Leinster against Glasgow on Friday night. I was really looking forward to this one. Leinster jogged to a victory against the Harlequins the week before, and I was eagerly anticipating Glasgow putting up a better fight. In truth, while Glasgow fought, it was never a fight. The main thing that stood out to me was Leinster's fitness. They were clinical in attack, set piece executed flawlessly, but above all else, they were absolutely unrelenting. Phase after phase, they never let Glasgow breathe for a minute. The Harlequins were terrible last week, but for Leinster to shut out another team a week later while putting up over 50 points again is nothing short of impressive. Next up, Munster away in Bordeaux. It was always going to be a difficult ask to replicate the heroics of last week's La Rochelle encounter, but few would have predicted the capitulation at line-out time that we saw. Alex Codling has done great work on Munster's line-out since joining a few months ago, but the amount of errors we saw on Saturday was just inexcusable. I can only assume it's Byrne calling the line-out, and here's my issue. If you misfire a handful of lineouts and cough up several good attacking platforms, at what stage do you call for a more simplistic lineout? There were so many moving parts, fake jumps, etc. Shorten the fucking lineout. Go up at 2. Throw underhand to the first man. Anything just to retain the fucking possession. It was a frustrating watch. But let's be honest, there was lots to be happy with as well. This squad has well and truly proved the Munster DNA is still alive. Full of heart, full of passion. The travelling fans did us proud, and we proved we're still capable of producing magic. McMillan will be licking his lips at the thoughts of working with this group of players. The credit has to go to Bordeaux, however. They were scintillating in attack and deserved to move on to the semis. The Northampton Saints hosted Castres and proved their worth once again. England performed a lot better in this year's Six Nations than many would have expected. Undoubtedly, this was due to some rising talents that we see in this Northampton outfit. Finn Smith is proving Borthwick right on a weekly basis. He's been a revelation at out-half. Tommy Freeman is proving a clinical winger, and the Saints seriously outclass Castres here. That being said, Leinster are a different beast, and the Saints will need to be on impeccable form to upset the favourites in the semi-finals. In the final match of the weekend, Toulon came up short versus Toulouse. It was a closely fought affair between two French giants, but Toulouse just had too much quality in the end. They've been here before, and their experience showed in the end. The absence of Dupont, however, was noticeable. Would the same team led by Dupont have been ran so close? Bordeaux lies next for Toulouse. The last time they faced in the top 14, Bordeaux came out on top 32-24. But the Champions Cup semi-finals is a new stage for them, while Toulouse have a wealth of experience in this stage. Who do you think will come out on top? The semi-finals are locked in, and I'd argue that Leinster must win the Champions Cup. Not only have they blown everybody else out of the water, not only do they have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to squad depth, but the other three teams are not of the same pedigree. The Saints are playing well, but they are only beginning to build their squad. Bordeaux are arguably the most informed French team at the moment, but they haven't experienced the pressures of Champions Cup rugby at this height before. Toulouse have, but they're without some key figures. On paper, Leinster are the favourites, and with the chips stacked so heavily on their side, a loss against the Saints or in the final, in my opinion, would be complete and total failure. Leinster must win the Champions Cup. As always, cheers for watching. Catch you at the next one.